And what does George Soros have planned? Well, on January 20th, there's going to be another massive nationwide Women's March / impeach Trump march. So we can expect that we're going to see another huge character assault on President Trump just leading up to this march to invigorate and encourage the women to all go out there.
And how do you get women to march to be Islamicist? You call it a women's march. It's the sickest joke on the planet.
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance.
1776, baby, trumps everything the globalists are launching. And yes, the founding fathers were Christians, and they were quite a bit of things, big readers. And you know what 1776 is in numerology. It's 3 sevens. It's completion. And so it starts with 1, and then you've got 6, the fallen, failed man, in the succession. Wow. when man was better before the fall. That's why it's 7-7. We're fallen 6, but from the beginning, God takes us back to the future, and we become perfected again.
That literally just blew my mind. And you know what?
And then they say it's satanic because the Satanists launched their operation the same year trying to counter us.
And 1776 will commence again if you try to take our president out.
And see, I'm not a part of a secret society or anything, but it's like I told this big writer, I said, I'm kind of like, and a lot of us like the head of the Illuminati, but not the evil Illuminati. There's no secret groups. There's no blood. It's not about power. It's not about Satan. It's illumination that God actually creates, and they call themselves illuminated. When Christ is the real light, Lucifer is the false light. That's why in the Bible, Christ is the morning star, but so is the Lucifer. We go, oh, it's the same thing. No. Christ is the real morning star. Lucifer is trying to be the real morning star. And people, the real esoteric stuff.
You're the leader of the Jedi Force.
Well, the point is that we launched the real revolution, the real new Atlantis, and this completely freaks out all the occultists when I talk about this because they know this and they don't want this known.
And you know who's a Sith Lord, right? George Soros. And what does he have planned?
He's more, he's a super evil, like goblin, gremlin of the even bigger spiders behind that. Mike Cernovich, you want to comment on what I was just ranting about?
Well, I've always said, and we've talked about this, that we're in a different era now within the collective consciousness, and that's why people. So I'll give you an example. This is going to sound insane to people who don't understand the global brain theory of the world. But I was asked by a very intelligent reporter, and there are like 3 or 4 of them in America. And she said, how, she goes, why did you get into this whole politics stuff when I was really known as being a mindset expert, as a lifestyle expert, as something completely different? And I said, I was in Paris, and I was walking around because I love to walk 5-10 miles a day, especially when I'm exploring a new city. And I was walking in Paris, and the sun had just set. And I saw a newsstand, and I saw nothing but yellow. And I go, what is this? It was a node, right? Well, what I saw at a conscious level was that Donald Trump's face was on the cover of some Parisian magazine, maybe Le Monde, and he was covering up the entire newsstand. And this was back when nobody said he had a chance to win a primary or anything. And I realized that was an energy network node action.
The group mind already knew he was what we needed and was going to then push it through. Just like the big study came out a few days ago that people within an hour of you getting a bacteria or a virus, even though it's not replicated, you're not really sick yet. Somehow we just see the body's gone into defense mode, and supercomputers can't tell it, but we can, because we are the real supercomputer. We're just babies just now discovering it. And the globalists know it's there. They know good people have it. Evil people shutter it. They don't. To be evil, you have to shutter yourself. You have to give up a lot of your real potential. That's why in all the allegories, the evil wizard is always crippled and evil and ugly and bad and has arms and limbs that have been hacked off because they have to give up their humanity, like Hitler being nerve gassed repeatedly in World War I and surviving. That's like an archetype of it, coming back from the dead, which he did, by the way, repeatedly. That's the archetype of these people. That's what they worship. It's like their Lazarus Project. We're getting into really sophisticated stuff here. The point is that I don't have to be in their fake Illuminati. All my ancestors going back, founding Texas, founding the U.S., and I'm not going to get into all the people because it sounds like bragging, but I couldn't even help it because that's the real chain. That's the real spirit. And if everybody else out there that loves liberty, you search your background, I guarantee you there's stuff like that there as well.
Exactly. It's in But it's in most every American's blood to want to resist tyranny, because most everyone came from other countries to escape tyranny that came here. So it's just interesting to see that now we're at this point where we've got these big George Soros guys out there that want to try to do anything they can to keep us enslaved. Wow. And what does George Soros have planned? Well, on January 20th, there's going to be another massive nationwide women's march / impeach Trump march. So we can expect that we're going to see another huge character assault on President Trump just leading up to this march to invigorate and encourage the women to all go out there.
And how do you get women to march to be Islamicist? You call it a women's march. It's the sickest joke on the planet. Sorry, go ahead. So they're launching a new major counteroffensive. He's putting hundreds of millions in. He put hundreds of millions just into the D.C. march.
And there's already, they even are partnered up with this thing called Rally Bus, which it's essentially a charter bus that can connect people to rallies. So it's, for example, you can go from Chicago to D.C., and this is essentially to mobilize and get these Democrats.
And they give them food, they give them liquor, they give them everything.
Who's funding it? Who's funding it?
Well, they admit Soros funds the women's marches.
George Soros is funding.
He gave $186 million to just the one in D.C.
Yeah, and this is going to be huge. And we can already assume that we're going to see more from the whole hashtag #MeToo, Gloria Allred front coming after Trump.
And again, it's all about women, and it's these leaderless women, because there aren't powerful women leading them. They're literally being led into a trap. I mean, it's so painful. Mike Cernovich?
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. We all see it. You can all see it. It's energy. And that is why they have destroyed, because our brains are drawn to energy. That's why, have you ever noticed you're walking down the sidewalk and you just suddenly veer left or you veer right, and then you're like, oh, wait, what was going on?
Exactly.
There was like an energy portal. And the Donald Trump magazine cover thing in Paris for me in 2015, when everybody said, oh, this is a joke, that was actually plugging into a node. And that was plugging into a good node. That's why when I say that Trump will be, he's a historical figure and a figure of destiny, you could plug into that. Likewise, it's like a Stargate. And likewise.
And people ask why I backed him right away. I could feel it was real, and the enemy's hate only confirmed it, and expanding on that, because we all have that sixth sense. I feel the enemy's breaking. Sorry, Mike, go ahead.
Well, that's why they're trying to open up their own Stargates, their own pedophile satanic stuff. You know, you ever notice that they say, oh, quit talking about pedophile conspiracy theories, but they're the ones who talk about it all the time. That's because unconsciously they know that that is their Stargate. Hollywood was their node into the Satanism and the pedophilia, and that's why they're so afraid, and that's why people like Meryl Streep, who praised Roman Polanski, that's why she's trying to attack Ivanka. And you think you're a Satanist, right? She is the one who cheered Roman Polanski.
Raping a 13-year-old girl.
She's trying to get ahead of this.
They put them in a mind-controlled trance so that literally they support their victimizers. It's Stockholm Syndrome.
Well, let's be clear.
And that's why they're going to have Joe Biden, creepy Uncle Joe, the creepiest person of all, running for president. He's literally gearing up, and they're backing him. And when I'm going out there on the street and talking to all these liberals out there, they're like, yeah, Joe Biden. Yeah, and they don't think anything about the weird.
And people ask, why is he grabbing all these women's breasts and kids right in front of you? It's lesser magic. If he can do it right in front of you, that makes it even better. And then these are all deep occultists, ladies and gentlemen, and they know all this stuff, and they use it against you and your family. And then they got all their Harry Potter movies and stuff to trick your kids to get into it. And it's not that it isn't real. The point is, it's all dark side stuff. You want to just go with God, your intuition, your gut, what's right. You don't want to be in these cults. These are people that know about God's power, but are trying to twist it on a smaller level because they are sick, evil, fallen people.
They know all about wordplay, how to essentially cast spells using NLP, put people in trance, and how to do it. It's very hard to do. It's very tricky. Even if you try to learn and hear from some of the people who have mastered these techniques,
but it only works on people that are in a near sleep state. And that's what the TVs and all this stuff's about. And we're here to break you out of the trance, which I know you've done, but other people need to, and realize this is an epic war. Mike Cernovich?
Yeah, that's the zombie state, the zombie trance. For example, when I gave a talk at Columbia University, there were people of Antifa holding a sign that said no pedo bashing. And a lot of people with no evidence, by the way. They have their own false flag conspiracy theories, claim that I planted it. And I said, well, wait a minute. You mean that Antifa and the left are such mindless zombies, they'll hold up anything that you give them? That is a far more interesting point that they're making, and that's what's become as a left.
That's right. The exciting conclusion straight ahead.
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance.
It's the claim that the August protest was some sort of left-wing plot. Who, you might ask, would say something so offensive? An elected representative who's serving right now in the U.S. Congress.
And look at the background. George Soros is one of those people that actually helps, back these individuals. Who is he?
My understanding is that you went out with this protector of yours who swore that you were his adopted godson.
Yes.
Went out, in fact, and helped in the confiscation of property from the Jews.
That's right. Yes.
Was it difficult?
Not at all.
Do you think George Soros funded the neo-Nazis who marched in Charlottesville?
Wouldn't it be interesting to find out?
These conspiracy theories were first spread by radio talk show host Alex Jones.
Is this lost on anyone? George Soros is a famous Nazi collaborator.
From the front lines of the information war, it's Alex Jones.
Support this network, and not only support us, but trigger the verified libtards on Twitter. They had an absolute meltdown a few days ago. They found an ad that I had cut for Brain Force, which, by the way, you should also get at InfoWarsStore.com. Always use the opportunity to promote it even more. They had a meltdown over an ad that I cut in April, and they found it like it was some secret, and they were like, oh my God, this is the funniest thing ever. So they literally had an autistic screeching fit over an ad of me promoting Brain Force, which is a nootropic, which like literally half the people in Silicon Valley take, which everybody has their different brand of. Oh, but when InfoWars does it, it's bad and it's funny somehow. If that's the best they've got, we advertise products that got 5-star independent reviews that you see right there on InfoWarsStore.com. Brain Force Plus. They had an absolute meltdown. It was hilarious. They wrote Vice.com. Listen, if this is the best they've got against yours truly, I advertised Brain Force 6 months ago. Everybody in Silicon Valley takes some kind of nootropic. This isn't like some hokey snake oil. I mean, Joe Rogan built his entire podcast on selling his version of the exact same product. You're gonna go after Joe Rogan too? Absolutely incredible that they had all these massive hissy fits over me making an ad for Brain Force. Well, here I'm making another one right now. You're gonna get triggered over this? Good. We'll sell even more bottles of it. You're literally making InfoWars and me money with your autistic hissy fits. Carry on with your autistic screeching, because it's a lot funnier from my perspective. If that's all you've got, it's quite pathetic at this point. Get your Brain Force right now. Brain Force Plus, personally recommended by me at InfoWarsStore.com.
And now get Brain Force Plus at 50% off for a limited time at InfoWarsStore.com.